Continuing now. So, as I told you, German army and the English army. The German army is showing off a white flag to the Britain army soldiers side and wishing them Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas. And now the Britain soldiers are also wishing them the same back. Okay. I thought that would be I thought that would be that. We all did. But then suddenly one of them was up there in his gray gate great in his gray great coat and waving a white flag. So first, see, I thought that it would be that. So first, this Mac person is thinking, oh, they are trying to cheat and plan something. So before he was thinking like that, it so happened that a person wearing a gray coat. So gray coat refers to the German soldiers. So he says once a German soldier, he came out with a white flag, it seems. Don't shoot, lads. So he's telling, don't shoot. Lads means friends. He says, oh, friends, please don't shoot. Someone is shouting, okay? Someone shouted, don't shoot. And no one did. So, hearing to no, don't shoot, this British soldiers also did not shoot that person who was coming out of the trench towards this German soldiers. So they did not shoot him also. Then there was another Fritz up on the parapet and another. So one after parapet is a protection wall, okay, a protection wall like thing. So one after the other, the German soldiers started coming out of that deep ditches, which means those trenches. So they started coming out of that trenches one after the other, telling not to shoot. Okay, keep your heads down. I told the men it's a trick, but it wasn't. But see, still Jim Macpherson, the British head, he did not believe them at all. So what he is telling this British person, Jim Macpherson is telling is, see, they are going to cheat us. The German are going to cheat us, and he says, put your heads down. And he's telling they are trying to trick us. They are going to make some trick with us. That is why they are coming with white flag and going to cheat us now. And he continues telling, but it wasn't. But it was not like as Jim Macpherson thought. It was not a cheating from the German troop, but it was right from their heart. They came out with a white flag to wish them happy Christmas because it was a beautiful Christmas morning. Okay. So, children, I think it is quite clear for you. Now come to the next paragraph. So one of the German was waving a bottle above his head. It is Christmas Day, Tommy. We have schnapp, we have schnapps, we have sausages. We meet you. Yes. So what happens here is, so one of these German soldier, he is weighing a bottle, okay, and he says it is Christmas Day, Tommy. I told Tommy is the name given for a British person, okay. The British person is called as, in general, he is called as Tommy, okay. And he says they have schnapps, which means it is a drink mhm, made from grain, a German drink made from grain. Okay. So he says we have this schnapps and we also have sausages, and they say whether we can come and meet you. By this time, there were dozens of them walking towards us across no man's land and not a rifle between them. So, while the soldiers of the German troop were asking whether they can come to their place, even before this Macpherson and his group were saying an yes, almost so many dozens and dozens of soldiers were now walking across the no man's land, and this Jim Macpherson and his soldiers were able to see that they did not carry any rifle with them. Okay. Little Private Morris was the first up. Come on, boys, what are we waiting for? And then there was no stopping them. I was the officer. So, underline this Little Private Morris. So, this Little Private Morris means it is a name of a British soldier in the war front. It is the name of a British soldier in the war front. Hope you understand. And private means a soldier of a lowest rank. Okay, so he was the first to. Lowest rank means a least of the soldiers. You will have categories in soldiers also, right? In that he was the least, that person, that few people were the least in the rank of soldiers also. So those were the one to come first, and they say, what are you waiting for? And now is what is told, that I was the officer, which means Jim Macpherson was the officer in charge of the British soldiers. So I'm telling again, Jim Macpherson was the leader of the British soldiers. Okay. I should have stopped them there and then, I suppose, but the truth is that it never even occurred me I should. So actually by mind he was thinking that he has to stop them because he didn't want them to come here to celebrate Christmas. But by heart he was not able to do that because he knew that the German troop were not going to harm him anyway. All along their line and us, I could see men walking slowly towards one another, grey coats, khaki coats, meeting in the middle. So he says, Macpherson is telling the grey coats and the khaki coats. Khaki coats now refers to the British soldiers, and grey coats refers to the German soldiers. So Macpherson is now seeing that in the place of no man's land, the khaki coat and the grey coats, which means the Germans and the British soldiers were meeting in a middle of that no man's place, okay, no man's land. And I was one of them. And then he found that he also walked there, and they all were together in that part on that day. I was part of this. In the middle of the war, we were making peace. So he's now telling, since it was a day of peace, a Christmas day, he says, even in the middle of the war, they did not fight. On that day, they were all together in the no man's land to celebrate Christmas. Okay. So, fine, children, we'll stop with this for today's class. I think it is quite clear for you. So, it is not like that you can just read it, listen to it, close and go. You have to now listen to it again, listen to the audio, the video twice or thrice again. And if you have your book or a downloaded paper of the lesson, read it at least twice or thrice before your next class, so that if you have any doubts, you can again listen to that, so that it will be very clear for you. Is it clear? So as I told you, I have explained it line by line. So please go through that and read it very well. And until I taught, be perfect. Understand it very clearly so that it is easy for us to move on with your next part in our next class. Okay, boys and girls, take care. Meet you in the next class. Bye.